Hi there, and welcome to my talk, Crossing the Platform Gap. Thank you to the DevOps Enterprise team for having me, and thank you for watching. I'd like to start with a brief introduction. My name is Paula Kennedy. I recently co-founded a company called Syntasso with a great team of colleagues. I've worked in the technology industry for more than 20 years, 10 years in software as a service, and then for the last 10 years, I've focused in the platform space, most recently working at Pivotal and later as part of VMware, working with customers who are running large internal platforms. So what will I be talking about? I'm going to describe the platform gap, a challenge that my team and I have seen at many companies we've worked with in the past, and which might sound familiar to some of you in the audience. I'll explain it in terms of why you should worry about it. I'll make some suggestions of things that you could do about it. I'll also be providing some examples where customers have made significant progress in solving some of these challenges. And then hopefully I'll leave you with some things to think about going forward. So, what is the platform gap? Okay, let's say you have a team, we'll call them Team A. They are responsible for a product. Let's say it's a mobile banking application. And because you're following the DevOps principle of you build it, you run it, this team is managing their own Kubernetes clusters. They're also managing a database. Let's say they've got some machine learning in there as part of the stack. And then finally, they're using Knative and Kpack for their application. Now, if you're a slightly bigger team, maybe you've got a separate Team B. Team B might be responsible for a mortgage calculator. And let's say that their stack is similar to Team A, but in this case, they have a CRM tool as part of the stack. And then as a bigger organization, you might also have Team C. Now, Team C might be taking care of credit cards, and their stack looks very similar to Team A, but they've got things configured just slightly differently. Maybe they're running some different software versions. And then finally, you have Team D. They're running the legacy payment system, which is running on bare metal, on premises, looks very different to the other teams, but is still a core part of your business. And maybe you've got hundreds of other similar but separate teams. Maybe your organization has made acquisitions in the past, and you've got lots of separate teams doing similar things, but not working together. This is what it looks like when you've got a platform gap. Each team is juggling all of the components of the stack themselves. They've all got to cross this gap, going from infrastructure to actually delivering value to end customers with their applications. And what are the implications of this platform gap? There's several problems with this model. The first thing to notice is the cognitive load on each team. Now, cognitive load is a term found in the field of psychology and is defined as the amount of information that working memory can hold at one time. In this case, we can see that Team A is managing quite a lot. And the more things that they're managing, the more information they have to remember about each part of the stack, and the less they are focused on the actual application that is delivering value to the business. Now, as my old colleague James Waters used to say, the application team should be focused on delivering business value above the value line. The value line can be defined as separating what's core to your business versus what you can and should outsource. Now, in this case, we mean it to say that what is the core specialism of this application team? What should they be focused on instead of also trying to wire all of these infrastructure elements together? And because this team has high cognitive load and reduced headspace to focus on the application, this could be having lots of impacts. This could be reducing the speed at which they can react to customer feedback, reducing the speed to which they can add new features, or to iterate, or to patch and keep their application secure. And generally, they're maybe not keeping up with your competition. And if you look across the business, you've got all of these teams all facing those same cognitive load challenges, slowing down the whole organization. And it's clear when you look at this diagram that there's lots of duplication and wasted effort. If we remove Team D and their bespoke stack from the visual, you can see that across each team, there are common items in their stacks where your organization could be pooling resources to save time and effort and money. By sharing these services, your organization could benefit from economies of scope, which can be defined as the average total cost of a company's production decreases when there is an increasing variety of goods produced. In this case, it means that if some of these common parts of the stack could be grouped together and shared, the cost to add new teams and new products would be incrementally lower, thus reducing the average cost per business application. Now, in this model, what's happening with team communication and collaboration? We can see it looks like the teams are working in silos. There's some pretty thick brick walls between them. And if this is the case, then they're not working together. They're not sharing best practices or knowledge or skills. You might have multiple people across the organization struggling to solve the same problems without any shared learning or pooling of resources. What are the rules of engagement between these teams? How should they, or could they, even work together? Maybe there are other hidden elements that your broader organization is not aware of. There could be pieces within the stack of each team that are hidden in the murky world of shadow IT. Teams could be using tools that don't meet internal governance or compliance requirements, which could possibly be